Hey, I am Professor Stone, and this is your course orientation. I want to go through all the course protocols, what's expected of you, how this whole course is going to operate. So this may be the longest video that you'll see from me this semester, but it is certainly the most important one. Now, I'm hosting this on YouTube so that I can create chapters so that you can jump to different areas if you come back to the video and want to watch something again, which I highly encourage you because this is comprehensive. I've been working at this for weeks, getting it structured and making it something that will be useful to you. So please enjoy the information and get prepared to be successful in this course. I've been teaching courses at El Camino since 2004. I teach Soc 101, 102, 104, and 113. And I now teach primarily online after years of working on numerous campuses throughout LA. My courses can be 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or 16 weeks in length. But regardless of how fast the semester moves, you'll be responsible for the same amount of content. All of my classes operate similarly, but of course, the textbook and course content is different. For many of you, this will be your first sociology class. 100-level classes offer an expansive foundation of knowledge in broad strokes in the discipline. If you take additional sociology classes at the 200, 300, or 400 level and beyond, you'll find that there are many specializations in the field, including visual sociology, sociology of sports, sociology of gender, sociology of religion, medical sociology, etc. As a result of taking this course, you will also leave with improved communication skills in various formats, including the written word, the spoken word, and video. Studying human behavior helps us understand people and helps us to get to know ourselves as well. When I think of sociology, I think of nature versus nurture, which is the general idea that there are forces both internal, that which we are born with, and external, those in our social environment, that shape our behavior and are inextricably entwined. The concept of Sonder, which is the profound feeling of realizing that everyone, including strangers that we pass on the street, has a life as complex as one's own, which they are constantly living despite one's lack of awareness of it. The sociological imagination, a concept coined by C. Wright Mills in 1959, refers to the ability to see the relationship between individual experiences and larger social forces. It involves understanding how personal issues are influenced by societal structures and historical context. This perspective encourages individuals to look beyond their personal circumstances to see the broader patterns at play in society, thereby linking personal troubles to public issues. I also think of the research methodologies used to study human beings and society. Ultimately, it is a search for truth, of which I believe there are 4 types. First, there's my truth in the way that I see the world and move through the world. There's your truth in the way that you see the world and move through the world. There's our truth, which is what we've collectively agreed upon. And the truth, which I've capitalized, that is ultimately is all that we could ever know, all that ever is, but which we may never find. Now, when I think of sociological results, what is resulting from this study of human behavior and the development of concepts and theories? Well, first, we want to predict the future. How is society going to be shaped? How can we plan for it? What can we do to change things? I think there's a lot of prediction in technological advances. There's the cultivation of empathy. If we understand other people on a bigger, broader realm of understanding, can we develop the kind of empathy that I think that is very much needed in the world? We can create solutions to persistent social problems. We can have a deeper connection with the self. It brings to light George Herbert Mead's concept of the I and the me, which is that development of identity where there's a part of us that is embedded within us that's unique to everyone, and then there are things that have shaped us and brought it into our identity, whether we want those or not. My sociological style, every professor you take will have their own, what I call sociological style, with leanings towards different theoretical perspectives, topics, and the like. Some of mine include visual sociology, which is like the perception, interpretation, and creation of visual media to help understand society. Micro-level sociology, which focuses on the interaction and communication between small groups of people and the problems of miscommunication that can result. Public sociology, which is a subfield of the wider sociological discipline that emphasizes expanding the disciplinary boundaries of sociology to engage with non-academic audiences, is perhaps the best understood as a style of sociology rather than a particular method, theory, or set of political values. Some of the topics I find of great interest include race and ethnicity, social inequality and social problems, gender, sex, and sexuality, language such as sociolinguistics, particularly regional dialects, accents, and semantics, which refers to meaning we give words and perceive them to hold, families and intimate relationships, identity formation, maintenance, and evolution and change over time, birth cohorts like Generation X, Y, Z, and Generation A, and the potential behavioral manifestations that might be impacted by the so-called generation gap. My instructional methods are about tapping into the available technology to take our ideas further. Comprehension through reflection and observation, moving individuals outside of their comfort zone, empowering versus enabling. I set high expectations because I want you to evolve. Intentionality and awareness over disengagement and proliferation. All course policies, instructions, and the course schedule can be found on the syllabus, which can be viewed and downloaded in PDF from the syllabus page on Canvas. Now, two very important course policies. First, no file attachments ever. Late work will not receive points. Those are the two things. That's pretty easy to remember. We use hyperlinks instead of downloads because I don't want to download all these files to my computer. And then late work will not receive points. You keep in mind that online courses are accessible 24 hours a day, and you will be given multiple days to complete the coursework. The coursework is manageable and it's relevant to the content being studied. A course overview module can also be found on Canvas. You must read through each of these pages in order to access the assignments. We also have the sociologyonline.weebly.com website. And on this website, you will find textbook information about your course, as well as supplemental resources, study strategies, lecture slides, study guides, examples of students' work, content curation around topics of sociological interest. So I'm on the page right now, and if you can see, there's expectations that I communicate. A lot of this stuff is repetitive to what I'm talking about now, but there's different ways for you to see this class. If you're a visual learner, you'll see how the class operates communication-wise, all the pieces of the class. If you go to studying, you will find your class 101, 102. There's study guides for all your tests, lecture slides if you like lecture slides, and a couple other pieces here. And then under Coursework tab, you will find information about each of these different types of discussion posts, as well as the grading rubrics, which I will go into in a little bit more depth in a moment. Now let's talk about exam. Exams are very important to your grade, cannot be made up. Again, there's multiple days. You've got to get this on your calendar and make it happen and not wait for the last moment. Please mark your calendars, set reminders, and remember, once you start the exam, you must finish it in that setting. No exiting and coming back later, just like the classroom. If you take other online classes, you're probably very familiar with discussion posts, which is also what I use. So there will be a number of discussion posts that will come up each week, as well as, the exams. And those are the two grading criteria that I use. So they're important, and it's important to follow the instructions. There are 3 types of discussion posts. Now, these discussion posts are not formal presentations on subject matter. So just put that in your mind. It's kind of the recreation of being in a classroom where if a question was posed, which I will refer to as a prompt, you may raise your hand and answer the question and respond to that prompt. So not everyone is going to raise their hand in the classroom, but in this particular instance, it is part of the process. So there, again, it's kind of conversations we would have if we were together in an in-person class. There are 3 types. The only written assignment is the narrative discussion posts. The video and audio discussion posts should not be read or scripted. It's a discussion post and not a formal presentation. Now, the narrative, this is kind of the overview of these assignments, but the detailed instructions can be found in the syllabus, and there's a supplemental section of the syllabus which will give you every step by step. And of course, if you go to the coursework page on sociologyonline.com, you will find detailed instructions. And of course, I will talk about these again and again and again through the announcements, which is my main vehicle of communication to the class. So if you read all the announcements and read the instructions, you should be completely fine. Now, every narrative post, which is a written, will have 5 sentences. That's all you have to do. You have to do 5 sentences, but they have to be error-free. They have to be well written. And you get 2 points per sentence. Please review and edit your written work before you submit it. Videos, you'll be filming yourself for 60 seconds. Now, I'm giving some leeway because if it's 45 seconds, at least 45 seconds and no more than 1 minute and 10 seconds. So for some people, when you get to 60 seconds, you want to wrap it up. You do not want to go below or above that time, or you will lose points. Now, I do want to go over the filming fundamentals, which is very important. And again, that has been included in your syllabus as well. So I'm here on the coursework video tab. And again, like I said, repetitive. There's some things you can find here that are supplemental, but also in the course syllabus. But I wanted to, this is your roadmap for how to film yourself and do it well. These are technical filming aspects. I'm not looking for perfection in delivery. All I'm looking for is you to follow these fundamental filming strategies. And first is lighting. And again, I like to use my filming as an example. Now, not everyone is obviously going to have kind of a studio situation like I have. I've been at it for quite a while, but I do want you to notice my lighting. First of all, always film in landscape, which is the wider version, not portrait. I feel like there's a difference between landscape and portrait. Portrait is used for social media, for informal type of video, and this is a little bit more professional. Also notice that we have my lighting, my face is lit. There's that's the most important part, is your face is lit. Hopefully you'll look at the camera, but that's, something that I think that people need to work on. But there's a little light on my webcam, and that's what I look at when I'm talking. And I pretend that someone is on the other side, even if it's not live. Audio. So you want to do kind of a test run with your audio. So film yourself talking a few sentences at your normal speaking volume, and then play it back and listen to it. Because if it's so low that the volume cannot be heard, you're going to lose points for that, definitely, because you got to be heard. That's important. Framing. If you notice my framing, especially looking at the form here, like there's a small amount of space here, head and shoulders, and we're kind of mid-chest. That is kind of the goal of filming is the same framing. So it's not way down here. The other thing is the angle. A lot of times people are on their laptop and they're looking down like this at the camera, or they're looking up. So you try to find this parallel. And if that means you need to, pull some books and stack it up on the books as seen here, if you don't have a tripod or a shelf, it will make a difference. Got some videos here to help you. I've got some information about the filming angle. I've got a Mastering the 1 Minute Video Ball. I have so many resources for you. And these below are examples of really good, solid video blogs. As far as lighting, one of the most important things is to make sure your face is lit and any windows behind you, such as you see here, have been closed by curtains or there's no light coming in. I'll show you the difference. As you can see here, my face is no longer the center of attention and all that light is coming in. Just be really mindful of where you're filming as it relates to light. Now let's talk a little bit about angle. A lot of people film at this angle and you can see the ceiling line right here. You can look as if I'm looming down at you, which is not the same as if we were having a conversation. I'm filming in the same spot, but at a different angle. You see, I'm maintaining just a little space above my head, shoulders, and kind of to mid-chest. This is the professional way of framing yourself. And if you don't have a tripod, you can always stack it on books. You can put it on a shelf and then lower your body. So maybe you don't have you feel like you don't have the right place. Keep looking around and seeing. And if you do have, let's say, a table, then prop it up with books on the table and then get below the table, maybe sit on your knees. But what it does is it looks like we're having conversation. While we're here, I wanted to talk a little bit about eye contact. I'm not going to deduct points if you're not making eye contact because you already have a lot of criteria. And for many people, this is your first time. But you notice the difference. Right now, I'm using an iPhone and I'm looking at the little green dot, and that's where I know the camera is. Now, what happens is a lot of people maybe look at their own image, whether it's on a webcam, a notebook computer, or a phone. And right now, I'm looking away. So you as the audience probably feel more connected to what I have to say if I'm looking at the green dot. That's something, again, one of those strategies that I think can make you much more effective on camera, not only for this class, but moving forward. Once you get yourself in frame, it's always good to do kind of a test. See how you sound, should you speak up louder, and then watch the video and then look in the background. Like I do this every time I look at the background. Should I be moved a little bit more here, more there, and just kind of move things around so you feel completely comfortable and you really like the aesthetic of where you're filming. This is just a multi-step process before you even get to talk to. But think about it, you're only talking for 60 seconds. And so a lot of the time, which I found for such a short video, is getting everything set up, making sure you can be seen, making sure you can be heard, you got your angle right, you've got your framing correct, and you've checked your background to make sure there's nothing distracting like unfolded clothes or anything that people put that could probably be tidied up a bit. One of the main problems filming in this orientation is it really is for social media. It is more of a casual way of filming. But right now you'll see there are two black boxes on each side of me when someone is viewing it on a computer screen, which is what I do, versus a phone. And also about 50% of this screen is nothing happening and I'm right here. Now, if I was to move myself into the full frame, to me, that's still too much body. I think it's still too casual. And you'll find that there is kind of a difference between this kind of filming and this kind of filming. The thing I see a lot of people doing, which I'm doing right now just to illustrate a point, is they're holding the phone and the phone is kind of moving around, and that can be very distracting. Now, it'd be different if you had a gimbal and if you were walking around or moving around like this. But most people, they're just going to be sitting stationary and they're going to be moving. is what I call the floating head. Again, we have this severe angle, as you can tell, but even if you didn't have the angle, you're just having kind of a head there. Remember to keep your head and your shoulders go from mid-chest and just leave a little. And again, these are techniques that I know are going to make you, your self-presentation be more professional, and people are going to listen more when you've taken the time to really put yourself in frame. Now, again, I'm holding the camera, and as you can see, even me, who has lots of skill and lots of experience in filming, I cannot hold this thing still. And I think and then you've got this arm extended like that. Again, this is the difference between something that's more casual and something that's more academic and professional, which is what we're trying to achieve with these videos. And then finally, the aesthetic is what is behind you. So when you film, after you get yourself framed, just look behind you. Now I do this in the morning, making sure I don't have things like clutter thrown in the back like that. See, that clutter is distracting. So you want to make sure, and that's just by sitting down, looking around, looking in every corner. And of course, this is all things that you do before you even begin to record. And those are really important aspects. It will actually help you present yourself in the most professional way. And that's really what our goal is, to be able to present yourself, be able to learn how to present yourself, and to be able to, use these different modalities. We'll talk a little bit more about Canvas Studio. The Canvas, and on the modules page, which is this course overview module, you will find a tutorial on Canvas Studio and how to use that. So I hope that will be helpful for you. And it's really a really great tool to use for self-recording, for audio, and being able to not only record there, but if you record somewhere else, you can pull that up and upload it and then generate a link. And when I say a link, you want to have a link that's clickable. Now, you want to approach the prompts with curiosity. Time and effort are more important than perfection. So I'm not looking for perfection, but I am looking for evidence of time and effort taken. Avoid abrupt cutting off at the end for video and audio discussion posts, which happens again and again. You see you're coming up on 60 seconds and you just cut it off. You want to find a way to gracefully get out. And that means if you see there's 10 seconds left on the clock, then you'll want to wrap things up. And again, I'll talk a little bit more about these, but fundamentally, the first thing that you should do is go to the syllabus, pull the syllabus up. You can even download the syllabus. So at the back of the syllabus is an assignment, instructions, class protocol, communications, and grading rubric. So each of these types of discussion posts is detailed here. The narrative discussion posts, there's examples how to do it. There are of course, the video and the audio. There is the technical filming fundamentals. Again, this is repetitive, some of it again. Filming technique, everything, grading rubrics, everything. I want to talk about the grading rubric because it is included here in the syllabus, but it's also can be found right here under Coursework, Grading Rubrics. So let's talk about the grading rubric. Before you start recording your video or writing your narrative, I do want you to take a look at this. You are trying to earn a certain number of points for each assignment. And for the discussion posts, they're each 15 points each, broken down by points that you can earn and points that will be taken away. For example, for the video, if you do a vertical video, you're going to lose 5 points. If it's below 45 seconds or more than 70 seconds, you're going to lose 5 points. If you didn't address the prompt, which it happens is people decide they're going to talk about whatever, you will lose 10 points. And then reading a script, I can tell if someone is reading something versus you're thinking about it. Maybe you have a couple points, a couple notes, but you do not want to read it verbatim, word for word. That's really not the nature of the assignment. I cannot stress that enough for you to use this rubric when you are after, before you submit it, I want you to look it over as if you were grading it and see what grade would you give yourself if you were in my place. The grading scheme can be found on Syllabus, and the grading groveling will not be entertained. That's when people at the end of what can I do to raise my grade? I'm telling you right now, what you can do to raise your grade is do the work, follow the instructions, and get it done on time. So you have the grading rubric, you have the grading scheme, you have the assignments, you have everything that you need to be successful. Thank you for taking the time to watch this course orientation video and really get your head around what we're going to accomplish this semester together. All the supplements have been created to make sure that you are successful in the class. And that's all I want. I mean, I want you to earn a grade, a good grade. I want you to get your assignments on time. I want you to be a responsible student. And I can't wait to see what you contribute to the field of sociology and thinking and those kind of things together. Take care. Thanks so much. For additional sociological content, check out sociologyonline.weebly.com.